Today we learned how to graph a little bit differently. We used to graph using a table of values. So on page S103, when I asked you to graph y equals 2x, I would set up a table of values. I would find the y by substituting in values for x, and then I would work it through the equation to find my values of y, so I would get my ordered pairs, and then I typically would graph the ordered pairs and find my line. Label the line with the equation showing arrows on both sides. Today we learned a secret. The secret is y equals mx plus b. M is representative of my slope. B represents the y-intercept. So the y-intercept is where it crosses my y-axis. So right here, that would be my y-intercept. This makes graphing so much easier. Let's see how we can do that. Again, the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. My x-intercept is where it crosses the x. For this case, my b represents the y-intercept. Okay, here's my first equation. Y is equal to 3x plus 3. I would like you to write y equals mx plus b above that top equation. Everything is lined up, so let us identify the components. M is my slope. What is the M value? And M in this case is equal to the 3. But I would put it as 3 over 1 because my M, or my slope, is my rise over my run. My B in this case, again, looking at the equation, everybody's lined up. The B in this case is my 3. So now I'm going to come to my graph. I'm going to label my axes, and I'm going to number my graphs. I'm going up by ones. And where do I start to graph? The very first place I begin is the y-intercept. My y-intercept here is 3. So on the y-axis, I'm going to put my first point on my 3. Then I'm going to look at my slope, and my slope is telling me I'm rising up 3 and I'm running 1. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, to the right 1. You always go from left to right. So I'm counting up 3 to the right 1. So I have 3 points. I could take my ruler and graph. Just note my pattern. My pattern will be opposite in the other direction. So I can do the opposite because, again, I'm going up 3 to the right 1, up 3 to the right 1 for every single point. Take your ruler, draw a nice straight line showing the arrows, and then label your equation on that line. Y is equal to 3x plus 3. So that shows me that every single point that lies on that line is a solution, and I can graph it so much easier using the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So here's my first one that I did in class. First thing again that I want to do is write my equation, y equals mx plus b above it. Now this guy is a little bit complicated because I don't have a number in front of the x, but what's implied is a 1. So my slope, again put it as a fraction form, is going to be -1 over 1, which represents my rise over my run. My y-intercept here is 2. Let us label our axes. I start at the y-intercept. I'm starting at the positive 2. Plot your point. My slope is telling me to go down 1 to the right 1. Down 1 to the right 1. So I'm going to start plotting my points. And then again, just continue the pattern in the opposite direction. Take a ruler, draw a beautiful straight line with arrows, and label your equation. And we are done graphing in slope-intercept form. Let us try another one. First thing I want to do is put my equation on top. Y is equal to mx plus b. Everybody lines up. My slope in this case is 4 over 1. Rise over run. My y-intercept is -5. Label your axes. I begin at the y-intercept. My y-intercept is -5. That is the first point I plot. My slope is telling me to go up 4 and over 1. Up 4 and over 1. again, do your pattern backwards. Take your ruler, make a straight line, and label your equation. Y is equal to 4x minus 5. Nice and simple. Okay, now if I give you a line and I want you to write me the equation, the very first thing I'm going to write out is y is equal to mx plus b. So now let us find my slope, and I know my slope is rise over run. So actually look at your graph. You read the points from left to right. I am rising up 1 and going over 2. So my slope is going to be 1 over 2, or 1/2. When I look for the y-intercept, in this case the y-intercept is at the origin, it's at 0, 0. The y value is 0. Now I can substitute those values into what my y is equal to mx plus b. I get y to equal 1/2 x, you have to show me the x, plus 0. Now again, you can leave that equation in that form, or it is the same thing as y is equal to 1/2 x. We don't show the plus 0. And that would be how I could write the equation of that one. Lastly, y equals mx plus b. My slope, or my m value in this case, is 0. I am not rising. It's a 0 over 1. And again, remember, I can make it look like the letter Z for 0. My slope in this case is 0. The y-intercept is right here, is a -1. So now when I substitute in those values into this equation, y equals 0x minus 1, that would be the equation of that line. 0 times x is 0. This is equal to the same thing. Y is equal to -1. I'm fine if you leave it for today as y is equal to 0x minus 1. Have fun using your slope-intercept formula.